Hello, friends. Welcome into NFL Daily. I am Tom Downey. Today's show is made possible by Kinzuri. If you're tired of feeling insecure about your height, they make shoes going to have to 2.8 inches. We'll tell you all about them later on in today's show, but check them out. You get 15% off at kinzuri.com/chat when you use promo code chat. We are going to break down my way too early, but it's fun to do them, 2024 NFL mock draft. And if you guys want even more NFL videos and some NBA coverage coming here in the coming days and weeks, hit that sub button right now, youtube.com/chatsportstv. This 2024 NFL mock draft is a way too early edition. There will be most of the things that are wrong because that's how it works, but they're fun. You want to get a good feel for who the 2024 players are going to be. And by the way, the draft order is based on the Vegas odds. So you can complain, but don't direct it towards me. At number 1, the Cardinals, Caleb Williams. Whoever is picking number 1 overall is very likely to take Caleb Williams. He is minus 5,000 or 500. I've seen minus 600 even. Going to be the number 1 overall pick. We have an entire year of college football still to go. That is how well regarded Caleb Williams is thought of. The number 1 pick is Arizona's. The number 2 pick is also Arizona from Houston, so it's Marvin Harrison Jr. How about that for a 1-2 punch for the Cardinals? A new franchise quarterback. Maybe you get a first by trading away Kyler Murray. And you get Marvin Harrison Jr. Yes, of course, his dad is Marvin Harrison. Non-quarterback-wise, he'll be up there for one of the consensus top prospects in this year's class. Now, Olu Fashanu could have gone pro out of Penn State last year. He would have been my number 1 offensive tackle. I had done enough work on him because he was super young and so talented that I thought he was going to go pro. He did not. He comes back to school. Assuming he plays well again at Penn State, he'll be an early draft pick. Colts get a franchise left tackle. Number 4, Drake Maye. There are some, I'll call them the Drake Maye truthers, who think he will be the number 1 quarterback off the board this year. I don't think that's that likely. In the event Tampa's drafting early, it means the Kyle Trask era did not go very well, and they would desperately want a quarterback. Drake Maye is the number 2 guy in the early viewing of this year's class. Who do you think then will be the number 1 overall pick? C for Caleb Williams. O for other. When one guy's minus 500, minus 600, he's the heavy betting favorite. This is the pinned comment on today's show. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. C for Caleb Williams. O for other. Didn't really have a great feel for where to go with Tennessee. Maybe O-line, receiver. But I like Dallas Turner a lot. Opposite Harold Landry. There's a fun edge addition there. His numbers weren't great. I think the numbers will be great this year for Dallas Turner. The Commanders at 6. Clearly, the Sam Howell era did not go that well. Quinn Ewers, there's always at least one quarterback, because it's 2024 mock's about projection, right? Like you're guessing if guys get better, if guys take a step forward. Quinn Ewers could be a top 10 pick. The raw talent is there. Or he doesn't play very well and he goes back to school. Or maybe he transfers or is a late round pick. That's a very wide range of outcomes there for Quinn Ewers to the Commanders, but the raw arm talent is there for him and for J.J. McCarthy, the quarterback out of Michigan. He does still need polish. He needs development. In theory, he can get that under Jim Harbaugh. He has a fantastic live arm. I'm a big fan of what he could be this year. Brock Bowers at number 8 to the Patriots. This just feels right, doesn't it? Brock Bowers has been the best tight end in college football for probably at least a year and a half at this stage. He is a very gifted football player. There's a handful of tight ends who get jet sweep handoffs and score on them, and I think the handful might only be Brock Bowers. He is an electric football player. He will be an early first-round pick despite the positional value issues. Today's show is presented by Kinzuri. If you are tired of feeling insecure about your height, Kinzuri makes shoes you have to 2.8 inches to your height discreetly. Women get heels, makeup, push-up bras, so why can't men get a confidence boost too? We're all the same height lying down, if you know what I mean. Kinzuri shoes are not only height boosting, but also stylish and comfortable. They're not grandpa's ugly old Velcro shoes, but fashionable shoes that can receive compliments even without the height increase. The height insoles are integrated into the shoes, making them the ultimate height hack. For a limited time, Kinzuri is offering our viewers an exclusive 15% discount on top of up to 30% site-wide discount. So use code CHAT, C-H-A-T, at kinzuri.com/chat. You get your 45% off. Don't wait any longer. Upgrade your shoe game and confidence at CONZURI.com/chat. Want to get high, put on a pair of Kinzuris. The link and the promo code are in the comment section and the description of today's show. A big thank you to Kinzuri for sponsoring today's show. Number 9, Joe Alt from Notre Dame. He is going to compete with Fashanu to be the first offensive tackle drafted this year. Both those players are really, really good. We mentioned Fashanu being a first-round pick. Jared Verse would have been had he come out of school or had left Florida State. He went back for one more year. That was a bit of a surprise. He might have been a top 15 pick. I've got him number 10 here to the Bears. They didn't really address the edge rusher spot in the draft. Jared Verse takes care of that at number 10 overall. J.C. Latham, the offensive tackle out of Alabama to the Green Bay Packers. I thought about receiver, but they would never. They don't spend their first pick on a wide receiver. David Bakhtiari probably doesn't have that much time left in his college career. There's a potential replacement. Maybe he can play some left side as well for some right side, I should say, for Green Bay. Jeremiah Trotter. Yes, that is the son of Jeremiah Trotter. We got a couple of those guys this year, don't we? Getting to play the same state would be fun. Steelers need a linebacker. This might be a little bit early for Trotter. He's not as big as his dad was, but he is good in coverage, and I find that very valuable. One more quarterback. It's a lefty. I might regret this being so early, but Michael Penix out of Washington had a great year at Indiana, got hurt, had some issues there, goes to Washington, and balled out last year. Plus, local kid, if you're drafting top 15, maybe Geno Smith's not the answer anymore for Seattle. Elite name alert, JaQuincy Kool-Aid McKinstry. I love him. He's actually a great Alabama corner. This is probably the next great Bama cornerback coming out, so I am quite excited to see what he is able to do. By the way, I forgot to mention, you see Bears at 15? We'll get to them. Bears at 10 was via the Carolina Panthers. Now, who is your favorite 2024 NFL draft prospect? Way too early edition. You can absolutely change your mind as many times as you want. So sound off in the comment section. I'm getting reckless here. I'm double dipping for the Chicago Bears because I had a tough time finding edges, getting them in the right spot. So going double dipping, and I think that's actually a good idea for the Chicago Bears. JT Tuimoloau out of Ohio State, the former highly touted recruit, has yet to put a full season together. He flashed significantly in a couple different games, namely against Penn State. Keep an eye on him this year. Kalen King, the other Penn State cornerback, who also happens to be pretty darn good. He had 20 pass breakups. Teams did not throw at Joey Porter Jr. They threw at Kalen King. 20 PBUs, I believe, 3 interceptions. Joey Porter did not go in round 1. So Penn State still is not on a first-round defensive back yet. I think that changes with Kalen King. Defensive lineman Mason Smith. Now, he didn't play much last year. He got hurt in the season opener, but there's a lot of talent, a lot of upside, so it's banking on him returning to form this upcoming year. Giants have some defensive line free agents. Smith would be a fun addition. Emeka Egbuka out of Ohio State. Yes, this would be 5 first-round picks at wide receiver for Ohio State. Last 3 years. Let that sink in for a second there. The G in his name is silent because real G's move in silence like lasagna. I'm a big fan of his game. Christian Mahogany. Insert your Anchorman jokes here. At Boston College, I thought he played really well, under the radar player there. Denver can. What I would do for Denver here is Lloyd Cushenberry leaves in free agency. Quinn Miners plays center. Mahogany, smells like rich mahogany, moves in there to guard. Malik Neighbors out of LSU. This was the better LSU receiver last year. Kayshon Boutte was supposed to be the star. Neighbors was much better at 1,000 yards. Hopefully, the end result is not what Boutte was this past year. I got an offensive lineman for my guy Will Scott. Graham Barton, a little lacks some length. That's some red flags there. So he's kind of like is he a guard? Is he a tackle? They'll figure it out. Miami could still use some offensive line help. Chris Jenkins, who I think had he tried to go pro, would have been a top 70, top 50 pick, somewhere in that range. So if he takes the next step forward, first round is in the conversation. He can be a little bit more of a strong fit alongside Aleem McNeil. He's under 300 pounds. He's more of your 3-technique pass rusher type of defensive lineman. Now, if you love the NFL draft, like the video for me right now. Anyone who's made it this far, we appreciate that. Show us you love the NFL draft by liking this video right now. Ja'Tavion Sanders out of Texas to the L.A. Chargers. Also goes by J.T. Sanders, by the way. 54 catches last year at tight end. That's impressive. Don't sleep on him. And what is, once again, probably a decent tight end class. Another elite name alert, Chop Robinson out of Penn State. He is a Maryland transfer. Still more flash than consistency. That's why some of these guys that we hype as round one don't end up going there. But Robinson's got plenty of upside there. Leonard Taylor out of Miami. I think he fits decently as a 5 technique, so I'll throw him in the back end of this mock draft as the Ravens. They love taking Power 5 players, so that certainly makes sense. Donovan Jackson, the former, I believe, 5-star recruit. Still, again, more flashes, but OSU tends to have their linemen take big steps forward in year 2, so I like throwing him in here in the back end of round 1. Green Bay Packers. I am projecting this pick, by the way, to come in from the from the New York Jets, part of the Aaron Rodgers trade there. Johnny Wilson, he's listed at, I'm not sure he's quite this big, but he's listed at 6'7", 235. I think he might be a little bit closer to 6'5" than 6'7", but he had 897 yards and 5 touchdowns. The Packers love bigger receivers. There you go. Jerzon Newton, who's a little bit of an undersized defensive tackle, but I told PFF he went back to him because he wanted to be a first-round pick. Bengals could use another impact 3 team, especially if maybe Zach Carter does not break out this year. I like Newton back in round 1 for the Bengals. Kingsley Suamaitai out of BYU. I think I got that right. I think I did. If not, I'm terribly sorry. Was Oregon initially 5-star, transferred to BYU? Maybe there's your Trent Williams long-term replacement. Another elite name, Rome Odunze out of Washington. Had 1,000 or almost 1,000 yards, I believe, last year for the Huskies. Not a great draft this year for Washington, especially MIA. That will change in 2024. Cameron Kinchins, the safety out of Miami. Miami's actually got 2 really good safeties, Kinchins and James Williams, who I almost put in this first-round mock as well. Williams is a bit bigger. Kinchins had all the ball skills and production last year. And another Iowa corner, Cooper DeJean, I think that's how he pronounces it. You can make a very strong argument. He was better than Riley Moss was last year, and I kind of think he was. And DeJean had, I think, a couple interceptions, a couple nice plays on the football. Chiefs might need a corner. Take a local-ish, kind of cheating. It's like Iowa has a professional football team, so I'll count it as local in the end. For the Chiefs, and he might very well be a first-round pick, folks. Now, I promise you, I left off a lot of names in this mock draft. If I get 50% of the names right, that's normally pretty good. You're trying to fit somewhat for need, shuffle guys in and out there. There will always be guys who don't break out the way you hope to, who got straight up worse, who, I mean, we were talking about Kayshon Boutte, top first year we're drafted. He goes on day 3, right? Eli Ricks, first-round pick, goes undrafted because, well, off-field medical character stuff there. I left players off. Can you tell me who I did, or at least help me build out my watch list, as I have no life, and we'll start that very soon. Sound off in the comment section who I left off of my 2024 NFL mock draft.